Before we address anything else, we must first address the elephant in the room. We must first address the elephant in the room. My shirt is incredible. My brew through shirt, hold on. Are you kidding me? I shouldn't even be allowed to put this on. It's just too much power. I went to the library a long time ago. I got 5 things and it took me longer than a month to get through them. But don't worry, we're going to get this video in at under 40 minutes this time. We're gonna do it. I don't like to be negative. I didn't do too good this time. I didn't end up being super in love with any of the items I got this time, but that's fine. The idea is that it's okay to get stuff that you're not a huge fan of because you're going to the library a lot, right? Yes. I'm busy. I made a movie. You made a movie. To start with the graphic novel, I got Dark Horse's House of Penance. This is a 2017 release. Yeah, I was, just give you an idea of the artwork. I want to say the artwork is amazing, obviously. I'll probably say that about every graphic novel I will get. The art is amazing. I'm always blown away by, seeing stuff that I could never draw. The story here is, just what I not super into. I guess I was drawn to it just because of the cover. Looks kind of hard, as fuck, but, it's, wouldn't you know, it's kind of edgy. On one hand, it is like, there's a lot of like, Satan, and ooh, he's crying blood now, and like, you killed all these people. And like, that is one thing that irks me, but it's also just like, that wouldn't be so much of an issue if it wasn't for the fact that this is based on real history. This is about Sarah Winchester of the Winchester Mystery House fame. Her family was responsible for making a lot of guns, and she was not very chill with that. And I shouldn't speak to the true history because I'm going off of this book. So according to what I know of the situation, she lost her mind and spent the last years of her life trying to atone for all the deaths and whatnot. But I don't know that because for certain, because this is fictional. There's like weird race stuff in this book, and that's like page 4, my friend. This it doesn't waste a lot of time, and it does one of those things where it's like, obviously it takes place like it's after the Civil War, and it does one of those things where it's like, we're not afraid to address that racism was an issue. There's like an N-word drop on like page 5, but it's still, the main characters are still white. As far as I can remember, it doesn't do the work of actually, naming the character that gets called the N-word. He's just there to be called the N-word, and then the white characters who you're supposed to like are like, hey, that's not cool. And you as the white reader are like, yeah, they're not all white people. Duh. The main character is this like hardened killer, like, oh, I have had to contract kill a whole lot of Native Americans. And the whole book is him feeling bad about that and encountering ghosts and, therefore. But what does that really do for me, the reader, the white reader? I mean, like I said, gorgeous artwork, truly. Like, again, I couldn't do it. But also at the same time, it's the blood and guts of it all just kind of start to wash over you at a certain point. Also, this book is maybe just a little bit horny for Sarah Winchester, and that's weird in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe this looks like your shit. Maybe you should check this out. If you think this looks like your shit, totally check it out. The next book I got was Alex DiFrancesco's Transmutation stories. This is a collection of like horror adjacent stories. If you're familiar with the work of Eric LaRocca, it's a lot like that actually. It's less dark than those. Ultimately, these stories kind of all have a little spark of hope to them. Oh yeah, they're horror adjacent, but they're also all in some way tied to either the trans experience or the queer experience. The author themselves is non-binary. Non-binary. This wasn't really my thing. I didn't really connect with the language of it. It's just like, it's very like, I don't want to say frilly. It's very like romantic and kind of Tumblr-y. There are some cases in here where the story takes place in either like explicitly like the 50s or 60s, or if the time period is just left indistinct, then I think the language kind of works for it a little better. But for the ones that take place current day, it's just kind of weird reading these poetic descriptions of teenage angst along with the word like Snapchat, you know. It's not my cup of tea. I will say I appreciate that the ideas in this are all pretty original and compelling. It's not cliche in any way. It's not like, you know, this just sounds like that one creepypasta I read. It's not like that at all. I think it is just the language style that doesn't quite connect for me. But I would say check it out if it sounds interesting to you. Okay, confession time. I am not confident at all in my ability to read poetry. I'm actually embarrassed by it. My partner is a poet, and it's like one of the realms of art that I just like haven't spent enough time just in it, poring over it. So I'm trying to fix that. So I picked up Domestic Work by Natasha Tretheway. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry. This is probably my favorite thing that I checked out. I started reading it out loud, and that's when it started to connect. Again, I'm not the most confident in my ability to analyze and appreciate poetry, so I'm not entirely sure what I can say that will be helpful other than I liked it. It's nice. It conjures images in my mind. I think maybe I do get it. Maybe I understand poetry better than anyone. Picking up a book of poetry, whether it's at the library or a store, it's always kind of a gamble, because you don't really have time to like flip through and be like, is this good? Is this all good? You might pick up something that is like so boring and cliche and juvenile. You never know when you pick up a cool looking poetry book at Goodwill and it's like fully a book about like traditional Christian values, like obedience to thy husband and stuff. Maybe that's a very specific, if you know, you know. But this is not that. This is very good. I was not at all disappointed by this. I found it easy to read. The mental images it conjured were very vibrant and colorful. Maybe I do understand. Maybe I do. Maybe this is what it's all about. Definitely check out Natasha Tretheway's work. She's won awards. And that's it. And that's where I stop that's where I stop pretending like I know what I'm talking about. Movie time. How I Got Over by Nicole Boxer. This is a documentary from 2014. It takes place in Washington, D.C., and it's about 15 formerly homeless women who put on a play at the Kennedy Center based on their lives. They're with this shelter, and the shelter has like a artistic enrichment program or something like that, and they have an acting coach and a director, and they sit down and just talk and relay experiences from their lives while someone writes everything down, and they turn it into a script. They tweak the script, they rehearse it, drama this, drama that, I might quit the show, this and that, and then finally it coalesces in their performance at the Kennedy Center. It's a complex thing. Look, obviously my background is in performing arts. I love theater, I always have, I always will, and I do believe that it has incredible healing properties to it, healing powers. The way it connects you to people, the way it opens your mind, inhabiting a character opens your mind to their world view. It's not that I don't believe in that stuff, and it's not that I don't think that this could be a powerful tool. I just don't think it's the tool. By the like final dress rehearsal, you can tell that these women are like stressed the fuck out. There's literally shots of the women saying like, I'm gonna be so happy when this is done, because at a certain point it feels like it has left the actors, the performers' hands, and it is fully now a matter of the director and the acting coach being like, we have committed to a performance at the Kennedy Center. We have to push these people. And it gets uncomfortable. And it makes me question like, how helpful was this? I think this is valuable to see. This was an interesting experiment. I don't know if it's one that could be replicated ethically. I think it could be done in a much different way that would be more helpful. I think maybe the Kennedy Center is a bit of a jump, if I may say. Maybe do work with like some community theater or something. Jesus. I like the way the documentary is filmed. It's almost like kind of amateur, and I mean that in a good way. Like, it's very much just like someone with the camera just like piling into a van with these performers, and they just say whatever's on their mind. It's fun like that. It is really fun. But I will say, they don't show too much of the rehearsal process. They show a decent amount of it, but it's mixed in with a lot of other stuff. Like, there's a lot of Washington D.C. establishing shots, which is fun, I guess. I just feel like not that much time was actually spent viewing the actual process of putting the show together, and I kind of wish that was more. But also I realized that a lot of it might have been edited out because it was either uninteresting or straight up uncomfortable. There's a lot of, okay, I was talking about, is this ethical or not? There's some, if you are outright telling people, look, this isn't therapy, this is performance, then don't make them say that. Don't make them tell that story in a group setting. And you're not even gonna say like, you don't have to, you just watch it if you want to know what I'm. And then the last thing on the docket for today is I did a lot of like ghost related stuff. This is all like kind of spooky adjacent. That wasn't my intention. Extraordinary Tales, based on the horror masterworks of Edgar Allan Poe, featuring the voice talents of Sir Christopher Lee, Bela Lugosi, Julian Sands, Guillermo del Toro is on this. Roger Corman has a voice cameo on this. This is insane. This is one of those G Kids things. So, you know, it's like, it is for children, but there's also like nudity and death and stuff. This is another anthology. This is a collection of 5 stories, I think. 5 Edgar Allan Poe stories. It's The Fall of the House of Usher, The Telltale Heart, The Facts in the Case of Dr. Valdemar, Pit and the Pendulum, and Mask of the Red Death. And throughout all of these, the framing device is Edgar Allan Poe in the body of a raven in a graveyard at around his own grave, sort of speaking with this this like dulcet toned female voice of death. It's quite interesting. The framing device is probably the clunkiest part. There is some like pretty interesting, compelling dialogue in there, but then it'll be like, I remember this story I once wrote about something sort of related to the conversation, The Telltale Heart. It's not the most cohesive presentation. There's not, as far as I can tell, there's not a super clear through line, but the shorts themselves are, at the very least, they're very cool to watch. I can't say that they're pulled off with all the same degree of effectiveness. There are just some things, like some of the animation is a little undercooked looking. G-Kids is, you know, they specialize in independent animation, so I can't fault them too much for that. But there's some like scary godmother level character models in this. So yeah, there's just like some awkward moments. The Pit and the Pendulum legit looks like PS2 graphics. It's kind of a vibe, actually. I'm kind of coming around to it, but it does look like a PS2 game, and it does have like Steven Soderbergh box editing, if you know what I mean, which is also weird and kind of video gamey. There's just like a couple things that hold these shorts back from meeting their full potential, in my opinion, but like I said, I still think it's really, really cool. The Fall of the House of Usher is narrated by Sir Christopher Lee, and it's amazing. The Telltale Heart has this extremely distinct stark black and white natural lighting style. It's insane to watch, and along with the Dr. Valdemar, it's sort of this early 3D meant to look like 2D animation style. It's almost, there are some points, especially with Dr. Valdemar, is meant to look like a 50s like pulp comic book, so there are points where it almost looks like it's predicting the Into the Spider-Verse animation style. Mostly it's Scary Godmother, but there's sometimes. And then, what else? And then the Mask of the Red Death, I think, is my favorite one. It's probably my favorite Edgar Allan Poe story, period. But also that one has no narration. It's just kind of a wordless walk through the story with this beautiful, like, watercolor art style. It's haunting, and it's really, really gorgeous, really well done. I would say, you know what would be amazing? This would be an incredible movie to show in a classroom setting. When I was an angsty little shithead emo teenager, I was really into Edgar Allan Poe. I would have eaten this up in a classroom setting. Imagine if you're reading Edgar Allan Poe, and then you get one of those, you get a movie day in class. There is nudity in the Fall of the House of in the Mask of the Red Death. There is nudity. It's not outright coitus. It's more just kind of medieval nudist hedonism. Briefly. I'm sorry I've been less active on this channel lately. I'm trying to find a job, bro. I'm in performances for A Midsummer Night's Dream at the moment, so I'm very tired. 4th of July week just happened, and that was crazy. And honestly, since I put the film out, I've been kind of tired from that, and also been experiencing maybe just a tiny bit of creative block. Also, I haven't like taken in that much art lately, and I'm noticing that a problem. I'm noticing that there's I'm having difficulty finding the balance between feeling like I haven't put anything artistic, feeling like I haven't created anything in a while, and wanting to do that, but I also haven't taken anything in a while, so I'm kind of uninspired. But I don't want to sit down and watch a movie because I want to be making a movie right now. But it's just it's a little tough at the moment. If you guys have any suggestions, recommendations, period, genuinely. If you guys ever want to tell me a movie you love or an album you love and you want me to give it to a listen, I will do it. I will do it. Anytime. Drop that stuff. Yeah. Less than 40 minutes. Let's go.